I'm going to invite up Pastor Maddie in a second here, and just wanted to really acknowledge Maddie did such an awesome job. This was the first time trying to do kind of a summer camp / VBS type deal at our small little church, but it was really good. The kids had a great time. They learned so much. Maddie did a really good job preparing. Miss Claire came and led them in some arts and crafts. Some of our older kids came and helped out as well. So just a really beautiful time of being church together this past week. So I'm going to invite Pastor Maddie to come and lead us in our message for today. And she'll probably share a little bit about what they learned and experienced together.
Thank you. Yes, I'm going to share a lot, and I'm actually going to have the kids help me share today because we spent a lot of time this past week studying the life of King David and how that kind of connected to Jesus as our good shepherd. And we learned Psalm 23 together, which we will invite all of you to learn with us at the end of our time together this morning. But the way that we learned about King David last week was we read a few different significant stories about parts of his life. And we asked questions about those things and talked more about them. And so for our family service Sunday this morning, we're going to look at those same stories together, and we're actually going to do that by acting out the stories for the rest of the church. So we'll split up into 5 different groups here in a minute, and each group will get a different story, which are the ones that we, with the kids, have been doing together all week. And you'll get a chance to really get to know that story a bit better, and then help the rest of the church learn about it a bit too. And so, like I said, in a minute, we'll kind of split into our 5 groups and do that. And then once you're in your group, I will give you either like a Jesus Storybook Bible or a copy of Scripture. And you'll have a story from King David's life that you'll, again, get to learn. And you can, at the end of our time, you'll kind of come up here and act it out for the rest of the church. Doesn't have to be anything crazy or dramatic. Or if you'd like for it to be crazy and dramatic, you're welcome to. And as you get to know your story a bit better in that part of David's life, I'd love for you also to come up with just like 1 or 2 questions that you can then ask the church and give us some time to discuss together as we hear your story. Just like 1 or 2 things that people could then turn and discuss together after they see your acted out version of the story. And that's what we'll do this morning, and that's how we'll learn a lot of what the kids and I have been learning together this week. And the kids at this point know these stories pretty well, and so in each group, it would be great if there was at least 1 kid who was at camp last week could be dispersed among the groups. Then you'll have a tiny expert in your group to help you learn your story as well. That's what we're gonna do. There is the Christmas play that we do has a lot of shepherds in it. So I brought up the costume box for that. So if you'd really like to put on some sheep ears or dress up a bit, it's by the cross in the back there. So you're welcome to go dig through that if there's anything that would be helpful for telling your story or anything else around the church that you would like to use. But that, and then I also just wanted to mention, as you are, everybody's helping themselves to sheep ears, great. As you're learning your story and being in your group, if you'd like to wander up here at some point during the service, these are, Miss Claire led the kids in painting Psalm 23. And I think that they're very beautiful and have a lot of fun details, and you can see kind of how things from the Psalm stood out to different kids. So I'd encourage you to come and take a look at these also at some point, and then kids can take these home at the end of church. But yes, that's what we're gonna do. So your first task is to divide into 5 different groups. I feel like that means there's 5 to 10 people in each group probably. So go ahead and do that, and once that's done, I'll pass out the stories. All right, so I'm going to hand the mic over to this group, and they're going to tell us the first story. We're going to go chronologically through David's life. So.
Sure. Okay. So this is the story of how King David was found by Samuel, and how the Israelites first wanted a king and they got Saul, but it turned out that really wasn't exactly what God had in mind for a king for Israel.
We want a king! We want a king! Hey-oh, we got a king! King Saul!
And he ruled very well until he said, I want to do what I want to do.
tells me, as Samuel, his prophet, that I should go to the house of Jesse. All right, let's do it, sheep. Let's go to the house of Jesse. Knock, knock, knock. Jesse! Long time no see! I'm here to find the future king of Israel, and I think it may be amongst your sons.
Oh, yeah, I've got some great options for you.
Okay.
How about this one here? He's so tall and so big and strong.
He is really tall and strong. What do you think, sheep? No, I'd say that's not going to work. All right, next option.
How about this one here? Very tall, very handsome.
Nope, sorry, number two's not going to work.
Okay, well, here's another one.
What do we think, sheep? This is not scripted. Okay. All right. You have any other sons lying around?
I mean, just David. He's the little one. He's out in the field with the sheep.
Okay. Let's bring him in. Let's get David.
Oh, David? Here's something nice to meet you, I guess.
Oh, hello. Hey, what do we think? What do you think, sheep? This is what I want. All right, David, you are going to be the future king of Israel. Okay, so the two questions for discussion were, what was it?
How did Saul fall in disfavor of the Lord? Or why did the Lord disfavor Saul as the king?
You can turn and chat with the people around you.
You want us to do both questions first? Or what?
Oh, sure, yeah, you can just do
Okay. And then the second question is, what does the story tell us about what God values? What does the story tell us about what God values? So why did Saul fall out of favor with God? And what does this story tell us about what God values?
And now this group is going to come up when David's just a little bit older.
We ready? All right. God's people had some scary enemies, but the Philistines were the scariest of all. And now the Philistines had come to fight them. And the Philistine had a secret weapon called Goliath. Goliath was a terrifying soldier, and worst of all, a giant. So there they were, the Philistines standing on top of the hill on one side, and God's people on the top of the other. And every day Goliath came out and shouted, "Send your best soldier to fight me. If he wins, we will be your slave. But if I win, you will be our slaves." And no one spoke, and no one moved. "Chickens," Goliath bellowed. "Your God can't save you." Ha, ha, ha. But God would do something. He would send someone to save them. Now, you remember that David was the youngest son of Jesse? Come on. Well, his brothers were soldiers in the army. One day, when David brought his brothers their lunch, he saw Goliath. And he saw how scared everyone was. "Don't be afraid," David said. "I'll fight him for you." King Saul said, "You're only a little shepherd boy, and Goliath is a great soldier. How will you fight him?" David said, "God will help me." So the king gave David his royal armor to wear. But it was too heavy and too big, and David couldn't even walk. Okay. "I won't need this," David said. Instead, David picked up 5 smooth stones and took his slingshot and walked toward Goliath. Step, step, step. Don't throw it. Goliath walked toward David. Thud, thud, thud. You, Goliath peered down at the small boy. I'm little, David shouted, but God is great. Goliath laughed a terrible laugh. Okay, good. With one swing of his giant sword, Goliath could finish the boy off. But David kept going. It isn't how strong you are or how many swords and spears you have that will save you. It is God who saves you. And this is God's battle, and God always wins his battles. David put his stone in a sling and swung it around and let it go. Okay, and the little stone flew like a bullet through the air and struck Goliath right between his eyes. Goliath stopped laughing, and he fell dead. The Philistines saw Goliath was dead, and they ran away. And when God's people saw them running away, they cheered. God has saved his people. David was a hero. Many years later, God would send his people another young hero to fight for them and to save them. But this hero would fight the greatest battle the world has ever known. The end. Good job, everyone. Oh, we need a question. One question we had was, how did you think the Israelite army felt when Saul didn't choose, when David offered to fight for them? And why was David so brave? Good question. What made him so brave? Good.
Okay, the next group that's going to go is the one that had 1 Samuel 24 printed out. I don't know which of these two groups that was, but that'll be next. So you guys can come up here and start to get ready.
Now, a little while later, Saul was still king, but he was afraid that David was going to replace him as king, and it was driving him a little crazy. And he was determined that he was going to kill David. So he went out with all of his soldiers and started chasing David all around the country. So David took his men and his sheep and his goats, and they all hid in a cave. Now Saul was coming along, chasing David, and he needed to take care of his business. So he wandered into the cave all by himself. Or herself. Now, David and his men saw Saul, and they said, but David said, so instead, David crept up behind Saul and cut off a corner of his robe without Saul knowing it. Then Saul finished taking care of his business and walked out of the cave. And David came to the edge of the cave and looked out where Saul was, and he yelled down to him and said,
I didn't kill you when my people said, who are you? David! What's up, David? You didn't kill me and you had a chance? Yeah. Wow, you're going to be a much better king than me. Just remember me when you become king. Don't waste me in history. Got that.
all right. So, first discussion question is, has there ever been a time when you wanted to take revenge, to revenge yourself? Second question is, how many dead bodies are out there? No. Second question is, what did God do to keep you from taking revenge or finding a better way?
Okay, the next group is this other group from the middle section here. Theirs is a little less of a story and more kind of pulling together these parts of David's life and what that culminated in. So they'll come up and do theirs next.
So David was a shepherd. He had a good heart. But it didn't mean he was perfect. He did some terrible things. Doing terrible things, David, growing up, asked asked God and prayed, I need a new heart. Mine is full of sin. So God made a promise to David. I will make you great, David, and one day a king will be born into your family, and he will heal the whole world. Did you also know that David was a songwriter? David's songs are like prayers. They're called psalms. And this one is called the Song of the Shepherd. So God is my shepherd, and I am his little lamb. He feeds me. He guides me. He looks after me. I have everything I need. Inside my heart is very quiet as lying still in soft green grass in a meadow by a little stream. Even when I walk through the dark, scary, lonely places, I won't be afraid, because my shepherd knows where I am. He is here with me. He keeps me safe. He rescues me. He makes me strong and brave. He is getting wonderful things ready for me, especially for me, everything I ever dreamed of. He fills my heart so full of happiness, I can't hold it all inside. Wherever I go, I know God's never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever, love will go too. Great job. I can watch what you guys are doing. Some discussion questions. One was, what were some of David's sins growing up? A second question is, who is the Good Shepherd? So those are our two discussion questions.
Okay, those discussion questions were a great precursor to our last one. So that was 4 different acts about David's life. Now we're going to skip to something that Jesus teaches in the New Testament. And I'll let this group come up, and then we can kind of wrap it all up together. So they're going to come up now.
Okay, we have I am the good shepherd, and the good shepherd puts his sheep before himself. But there is also the hired man who's not a real shepherd, and the sheep mean nothing to him. So when he sees the wolf or the fox coming after them, he doesn't do anything about it. And then there's the real good shepherd who knows his own sheep, and the sheep know him. And he puts the sheep before him, and when they wander off, he can call them because they know his voice. And when the sheep wander off, the shepherd calls them back, and they know his voice, and they all come back. And when something comes in it, and when somebody comes in it, when the fox comes to attack the sheep, the good shepherd will guard that sheep with his life. Okay, and now our questions were, I think, Becky, you had one?
So how did the sheep recognize the shepherd's voice? What trained them to know that?
How is God like our shepherd?
Okay, so those were the stories that we learned together this past week at Kids Table Camp. And does anybody remember how David is related to Jesus? But then Jesus comes later from the line of David even, and Jesus is the good shepherd. And there's no fault or wrong that Jesus does. He's a good shepherd to his people, and we get to be the sheep that Jesus shepherds then. And so David, throughout his life, wrote a bunch of songs, and we know a lot of them as the Psalms that we have in Scripture now. And one of the ones, or the one that we learned together last week was Psalm 23. And so kids, why don't you come up to the front with me? Even if you weren't at camp last week and you would like to come to the front, come up to the front. We learned Psalm 23, and we learned some motions to help us remember it. And so we're going to teach those to you right now, and that will be how we wrap up our time, right? So I think I don't even need the mic because we'll just say it, right, guys? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we're all gonna face you, and we're gonna do our motions for Psalm 23. And you're welcome to follow along as you see them, okay? So, the Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me on the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will live in the house of